Ever wondered how the first cars did it? Like, how did they run? They didn't have computers back then. They didn't have batteries until later years. How did they run? Let's compare a 2026 Ford F-150 to the Model T. We should start by figuring out what a car needs to run. Air, fuel, and spark, right? I'm going to throw in chain reaction as well. A motor will turn over, but won't last if you can't maintain its running condition. Air hasn't changed all that much in the last 100 years, so that's going to be the same. They still primarily use gasoline in the Model T, but back in the early 1900s, they used raw gasoline. Take a look at this. This is an oil distillation tower, or fractional distillation tower. This is how they separate or fractionalize crude oil. You'd add crude oil to a furnace until it vaporized, then the crude oil vapors would enter the distillation tower, where the different densities of oils would fractionalize it or cause it to separate. The Model T would take the fractionalized gasoline and just throw it right in the car. The Model T had a much lower compression ratio than today's cars, so this old gas had a much lower octane, around 40 to 60. The octane rating is how resistant it is to knock, or premature fuel detonation, where a low octane rating like 40 would explode under much lower pressures than something like 93 octane. Modern cars like our F-150 are normally built with a much higher compression ratio than Model Ts, so if you tried putting old gasoline into a new car, you'd pretty much destroy it immediately. But if you tried putting new gasoline into an older car, you wouldn't have much of a problem. The formation of spark is one of the big things that have seen a lot of change. Today's cars use batteries and ECUs, but early Model Ts didn't come with an ECU or a battery. They had a crank start, trembler coil, and timer. The trembler coil was just like an ignition coil. It stepped up the voltage, and the timer told the trembler when to actually send a current to each particular cylinder spark plug. Modern cars and Model Ts still use spark plugs to send spark. Now you have all that, the air, fuel, and spark. But how did the Model T maintain that electricity to continue making spark? New cars use alternators to charge batteries to keep the motor running, but early Model Ts didn't use a battery. They used something called a magneto. The magneto was attached to the car's flywheel directly, a plate with 16 magnets permanently attached to the flywheel and 16 stationary magnets attached to the engine block. As the flywheel spun, electricity would generate, meaning the car would only generate electricity if it was running. There was no electricity storage. And that's how a Model T would maintain a running condition. If you would like a more comprehensive guide explaining how old cars ran and drove compared to modern cars, like, comment, or subscribe to let me know. Thanks for watching.